Alright guys, how's it going? Today I'm also playing at Santa Claus with a bonus video on this fine Christmas day. A video sponsored by MSI, which includes a competition giveaway for my Swedish viewers, and when they told me it was about a Ryzen 5 1600 and their B350 Tomahawk motherboard combo deal, I thought to myself, this will be the easiest sell that I have ever done. So if you've got a bunch of Christmas cash lying around and you're looking at getting into entry-level PC gaming, or maybe you just badly need an upgrade for your old PC, then this will be one you're interested in. So let's start by looking at the CPU itself. The Ryzen 5 1600. It has 6 CPU cores and 12 threads, a base clock speed of 3.2 GHz and a maximum turbo speed of 3.6 GHz. This is an unlocked CPU, so it's overclockable as well, and it also comes with the Wraith Spire cooler. So it's not just the CPU, it also comes with a fairly decent cooler as well. Now regarding the motherboard, the B350 Tomahawk. It does of course support all Ryzen CPUs. The components on the Tomahawk are good enough to run even overclocked 8-core CPUs. It's compatible with DDR4 memory all the way up to 3200 MHz, and that's a maximum of 64 GB of memory in 4 slots. At the rear it's got a bunch of USB 3.1 ports, Type A and Type C, and even a couple of USB 2 there as well. It's an ATX form factor motherboard, which of course means you will need an ATX case. And the motherboard is also capable of crossfire, if you ever feel the need to add more than one graphics card. So that's what the bundle deal is. You're getting a Ryzen 5 1600, including the Wraith Spire cooler, and a B350 Tomahawk motherboard in a combination deal. So wherever you are in the world, keep an eye out on this deal. Okay, so that's the specs, but what kind of performance can you expect from a PC like this? Well, first of all, you'd be looking at adding an entry-level graphics card, something like a GTX 1060, or the graphics card I'm using here, which is actually MSI's RX 580 Gaming X. And coming up is a demonstration of the type of gameplay that you can expect from this CPU and motherboard combination with a typical entry-level graphics card. Note that I'm also recording on the exact same system, so in actual fact, the system will perform even better than what you're about to see. Right, so first up is Doom. Doom is a gloriously gory and an extremely explosive game. And at the end of each level you have to survive a lockdown where wave after wave of demons come at you thick and fast, yet the game almost never drops below 100 frames per second. This is at ultra settings 1080p, and you can see how smooth the game remains at all times. Just look at the line, that is perfectly smooth gameplay. Now moving on to Prey, again at ultra settings 1080p. Prey is a great game full of fast moving, almost teleporting enemies, which requires accurate placement of abilities and a quick aim. And as you can see here, the frame rate is well above the magic 60 frames per second limit, which allows for that kind of gameplay. And even more importantly, there are no major stutters when you're doing fast turns or when taking aim. Again, we're looking pretty much perfect gameplay. Now a bit of a change of pace with the instantly recognisable classic The Witcher 3, which is one of the best looking and most popular PC games of recent years. And you might think you need a really high-end PC to do this game justice, but you simply don't. Even in towns with plenty of NPCs around, you are well above that magic 60 frames per second. And even in heavy wooded areas, the frame rate remains high enough to be perfectly playable. And here at the end we see almost never dropping below 60 frames per second. Once again, 1080p ultra settings, and what most people would consider to be perfect gameplay. And finally we have Rise of the Tomb Raider, again one of the best looking, most popular games of recent times, and it's a game that regularly switches between cutscenes and some pretty intense action sequences, lots of explosions, lots of quick camera movements, the sort of gameplay that could drag a console to its knees. But again we can clearly see we're above 60 frames per second even in these heavy action sequences with tons of explosions and stuff on screen. Once again at maximum settings 1080p. Right, so you've seen the specs, you've seen the gameplay, but if you're still not convinced, then don't take my word for it. Over at Level 1 Techs, the best overall CPU of the year was the Ryzen 5 1600, and over at Gamers Nexus, it won the Best Overall Value award, while over at TechSpot, it ran away with the Best Value Desktop CPU, without question. Over at Kit Guru, they reviewed the MSI B350 Tomahawk and gave it 9 out of 10 stars, while over at Hardware Canucks, they were able to push their 8-core Ryzen 7 1800X to 4.1 GHz and run their G-Skill memory kit at its rated 3200 MHz without any issues whatsoever. So, no need to take my word for it, as the majority of the tech press have been saying the same things for most of the year. if you're worried about longevity, the AM4 platform is scheduled to last until at least 2020. So this very same motherboard will work with the next generation Ryzen CPUs and also the generation after that. This motherboard CPU combination would have cost you 3 times as much only 18 months ago. Had you bought, for example, an i7 6800K and one of the expensive X series motherboards. We kinda got blasé about Ryzen during the year, I felt, but it truly has brought high-end performance to the entry-level price point. In Sweden, the bundle will be available at Webhallen at a price of 3,099 kronor. That's the Ryzen 5 CPU, the Wraithspire cooler, and the B350 Tomahawk motherboard. So let's wrap this one up with a quick look at the competition, which again is only open to viewers in Sweden. Now for me it says this promotion starts in 5 days, but the competition will be ready by the time you're watching this video. So if you want to win one of 3 of these packages, just check out the link in the description and enter the competition. The giveaway campaign starts today and lasts until the 5th of January, soon after which they will announce the winners. So if you're in Sweden, be sure to check out all their social media pages and be sure to enter the competition. Right guys, so that's this one done, and I'm off to Scotland for a few weeks, but the videos will still be rolling on. I'll catch you later guys.